Pradhana and start the session. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Om Annado Sri Jagannatha Madguru Sri Jagadguru Mamatma Sarva Bhutatma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Om Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tat Padam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. The only Guru of three religions, Traitatiram originator, sensational writer, the author of more than 100 divine holy scriptures, the emperor of spiritual kingdom, Hindu virtue donor, Sri 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 Acharya Prabodhananda Yogeshwar. We are learning Traitatiram Bhagavad Gita. We completed up to 5 chapters last week. So today we are going to learn about the 6th chapter in Traitatiram Bhagavad Gita, which is Vignana Yogamu. Vignana Yogamu is the chapter we are going to learn. Here Vignana means science, which comes to our experience. So far we learned more about Karma Yogam and Brahma Yogam up to the 5th chapter. So this is the 6th chapter. In this 6th chapter we will learn more about the Jivatma and Paramatma. Jivatma means mortal soul, Paramatma means absolute soul or Holy Spirit, we can say, or the soul beyond the immortal soul, we can say. So we can say supreme soul also. So it has no name actually. So it's we always say Param Atma. Param means which is not. Atma means even it's not Atma at all. So we cannot describe that. That's why it is called Paramatma. So in the next chapter we will be knowing much more about nature and immortal soul. But in this chapter we will learn much about the Jivatma and Paramatma, mortal soul and absolute soul. In our ancient days, people used to separate the types of remedies. If somebody is suffering with some ailment, we can say. So there are like one is a disease, another one is people suffering with disease, poison, and some defect in their body. These are three categories. People categorized, our ancient elders categorized into these three types, and they used to provide appropriate treatment for that one. And in the olden days, in ancient days, there were no many facilities like we do have right now. If we get some problem, we will go and get scanning and get the lab test and come to know what kind of problem we got in our body, right? So in the ancient days there were no facilities to identify. That's why they categorized in three different types, and they used to provide the remedy for them also. So if there is a disease, they used to put some they used to uh, burn their body on that particular spot. Example, jaundice. Still so many places people are burning the skin on a particular place to uh, overcome the jaundice disease. So that is one type of remedy. Another one is in some places, even nowadays also, mantras. They do mantras. So with that mantras, so their poison will be eliminated. And they used to give some medicine for the defect in their body. So that's what three ways they followed. So similarly, so in Bhagavad Gita, in understanding Bhagavad Gita also, if there is a Shlokam, we need to know for what purpose this Shlokam was taught. So if there is a, if your understanding is different, what Lord Krishna meant the slokam, then you cannot understand the Bhagavad Gita in a proper manner, and you will be going away from the actual essence of the Bhagavad Gita, what he taught. That is why, so we need to clearly understand each and every slokam, what purpose it is taught. So that's what the uh, main note our Swami provided. We need to keep that one in our mind and continue learning the Bhagavad Gita. So let us move on to the first slokam, which is started by Lord Krishna. He started telling from the first slokam itself in Vignana Yogam chapter. What is that? Maya sakta manaha partha yogam yunjan mada shreyaha asamshayam samagram mam yatha gnasyasi tashrunu. What he is saying here, you keep focus on me, you refuge to me, continue doing the yogam, learn the wisdom without any doubt even. Um, so in order to get that, I will let you know, I will let you know the process. You listen it carefully so that you can get the liberation. So this slokam talks about Jivatma and Paramatma. So here Paramatma from the Lord Krishna's body is talking to the Jivatma. We are all Jivatma. This is taught to us as well. We need to carefully understand. The mortal soul, whoever wants to get liberation, so he has to observe that there is Paramatma. There is Paramatma. He has to observe that. He has to grasp that information that there is Paramatma. He has to put focus on learning about him, and he has to come to know that the base for that is yogam. Yogam means unification, only the way. So by following that way, it's only when he does so, he continues doing that, and he will be getting clarification for every doubt he got. So whenever there is no doubt exists for him, that means he knows everything. So when how it happens, so whenever God reveals that matter, so whenever you get the doubts, you get clarification and move forward. So that is why Lord Krishna is telling that he only has to reveal that wisdom, because he is God. So he is the Guru. So Guru knows everything about God, everything about God. Guru himself is God. So he only knows about him. He only has to tell the wisdom. So whenever we have interest on him, when we clarify all our doubts and we follow the um, yogam, then we will destroy our karma. So here the bridge, we need to identify the bridge. The bridge is Atma. Immortal soul is the bridge between mortal soul and absolute soul. When you see three white lines on the Ishvara Lingam, so the middle white line will have the red dot on it. That means you have to study the spirit. That is called spirituality. Spirituality means know about the spirit. Spirit means Atma, immortal soul. When you know immortal soul, then you will know, or you will merge with absolute soul. That is what here we need to know. So nobody cannot directly go to the third step, Paramatma. He is in the first step. He has to learn about the second step, Atma. Then only he can go to the Paramatma. So nobody cannot achieve Paramatma without even knowing about the Atma. That's what the first slokam he is saying that. So by knowing completely without any doubts and doing the yogam, destroying the karma, then anybody can get Paramatma. Let us let us move on to the second chapter, second slokam. Gnanam te yaham savignanamidam vakshamyasheshatah यज्ञात्वा नेह भूयो अन्यत् ज्ञातव्यम avashishyate. So this one talks about Jivatma, this slokam. So what Lord Krishna is promising here is, I am going to teach the wisdom which comes to experience. Whenever you come to know that, you experience that, you come to know that, you learn that there is nothing in this world you learn. There is nothing in this world you learn. See how great uh, wisdom, how much greatest is this wisdom, the Brahma Vidya Shastram, the big education. So, in this world, the important thing we have to learn is how do we destroy our karma. So, the karma which is causing the births, which is the main reason for getting the birth. So, whenever you destroy your entire karma, so there is no reason to get birth. That is why Lord Krishna is saying over here. So, I am going to teach you the matter of yogam process of yogam. So, when I teach about how do you do yogam, you follow the yogam. So, by knowing that, you will get experience, you will experience it into yourself, then that is going to destroy your karma. So, that is why he is saying, so I am going to teach you that with the science, and that means it is coming to your experience over here. So let us see the third slokam. Manushyanam sahasreshu kachityatati siddhaye yatataamapi siddhanam kachin mam veti tatvataha. What he is saying here? The people will be trying to get liberation. Those kind of people will be one among the 1,000 people. In such one among such kind of people is going to get liberation. That is what Lord Krishna is telling over here. So nowadays, if we see how is this world, so there is very hard to identify a one person among 100,000 people who is actually trying to get the liberation. This Bhagavad Gita was taught way back 5000 years ago. That time, people were not much uh, falling behind the nature or prakriti related things. There, there was much more spirituality compared to nowadays situation. So that time itself, God said that one among 1,000 people. That means nowadays, if we see the situation, we cannot even imagine one person out of 100,000 people is really trying to get the liberation. For example, if you take a village of 1,000 people, there is a one person who is really uh, having the uh, thought that he wants to get the liberation, and he is trying to do meditation, yoga, and etc etc. So what happens? So in their village and in his home itself, first enemies will come up and they will be pulling him backward. So after 1 year or 2 years, after he tries. So then he will come back to the same uh, back to the original position. Like he will become like same 1000 people who are not thinking about the God itself. So like that, if you take so many villages, in each village one person, like in thousand one in thousand, like that, there are so many people. One among such kind of people who are trying to get the liberation may be very strong, who will who will be standing strong, and he is much determined to get the liberation. So such kind of people are very rare. We cannot identify such kind of people, it's impossible. So even if somebody exists like that, Maya does not make him go in that way. It will definitely will try to pull him back into the nature itself. So whoever could stand strong against the Maya and the people who are pulling back him into the world, so that person can get the liberation. So that is why Lord Krishna also told that. So if you think that you wants to get the liberation, you can't get it so much so easily. That's what Lord Krishna said over here. Let us move on to the fourth slokam. Bhumirapo analo vayuh kam mano buddhirev cha ahankara itiyam me bhinna prakrutirashtadha. What Lord Krishna is telling here, his nature is in five in eight parts. Those are five elements: sky, air, fire, water, earth, and three internal organs: mind, buddhi, ego. So these are the eight parts of his nature. That's what Lord Krishna is telling over here. If we divide this entire world, we can divide it into two parts. One is movable, another one is uh, immovable nature. But in this slokam, so this nature is divided into movable nature and immovable nature. So entire world, if we divide the chara achara world, if you divide, they can be divided into nature and the absolute soul. Nature and absolute soul. So the absolute soul is the one which is invisible, but it is the main base for the nature itself. Nature is the one which is visible to us. So the movable nature is the one which all the living creatures are called the uh, movable nature, and the parts inside the movable creatures are made up with the movable nature itself. The immovable nature is of five parts: sky, air, fire, water, earth. The movable nature is of 24 parts. 24 parts. So inside our body itself, inside all the creatures' body. So that is why uh, five parts nature is one, and um, the five parts nature, and the five parts and also the bodies, five parts and the bodies which are made by nature itself is one part. Another part is um, which is the base, which is the root for, which is the base for all these. The first part is called the second part. The second part is called the second part is the absolute soul. So the five elemental nature is one part, and the three parts of the mortal soul, immortal soul, absolute soul is the second part. In this entire world, we can see we 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 have two parts itself. So, so the mind, buddhi, and ego, these are the main important things which are playing important role in enforcing the karma, enforcing the karma, and the mortal soul is experiencing that karma itself. So that is why Lord Krishna said that this entire world is um, his nature itself in 8 parts. So whole nature is 8 parts. So five elemental nature is one five elemental plus three internal invisible organs: mind, buddhi, and ego. These are the total 8 parts. That's what Lord Krishna said. Let us move on to the fifth slokam. अपरेयमितस्त्वन्यां प्रकृतिं विद्धि मे परां जीवभूतां महाबाहो ययेदं धार्यते jagat. So by which this entire world is being run, or being run, and which is the root for that. So that is the one which is having the uh, live, which has the life in it, that is beyond, that is other than the nature. You know about that. So this nature is lesser than that. That's what Lord Krishna told over here. So in this slokam he said, Anyam Prakritim. Anyam Prakriti means it's other than the Prakriti. So not this nature. It's other than this nature. But some people said that other than this nature means there is a different nature. So there is nothing like that. There is no different nature than this nature. So in the previous slokam we came to know that there are, in this entire world there are two things. One is Prakriti, another is Paramatma. Two things only. So here we need to clearly understand in this slokam he said. So there is Anyam Prakritim. Anyam Prakritim means not another Prakriti. So we should not understand that. So this nature is lowest level one, and the uh, life with the, there is another one which is the greatest with the life containing, having the life, is another Prakriti, is wrong. That way we should not think that. So we came to know that Prakriti is different and Purusha is different already. So, and also we came to know that the Jivatma, the mortal soul, is related to absolute soul itself. So absolute, he is the speck of the absolute soul itself. So the which is having the life, and which is the greatest, and which is spread entire world itself, that is other than the Prakriti itself. So we need to understand in such a way. We need to understand in such a way that whatever Lord Krishna said over here. So there is one thing which is not the, which is different than the Prakriti, and it is the living force inside the bodies, that is Jivatma. And there is another one which is driving the body as a conscious energy, and there is another one which is the Paramatma, which is spread in every where he is omnipresent. So these three are categorized as one unit, and that is called, it's the greatest one. That greatest one is greater than the Prakriti itself. The Prakriti is in the lowest stage, that is the highest level, which is other than the Prakriti itself. That we can say, that we say um, is Purusha. So Lord Krishna also told that. So by knowing which you can get the liberation, right? So the one the one who is the Purusha is called Paramatma. The Paramatma, when you come to know the Paramatma, you will get liberation. That is why the greatest one is Paramatma, which is not the Prakriti at all. So that you have to know. So we need to understand in a clear manner, otherwise so we can't understand, we will go in a wrong direction. Here prakriti means which we are living in this prakriti, which is the lesser one, which is the lowest level one. The anyam prakriti means which is about the God himself. God is divided into three parts: absolute soul. God is in three parts like Paramatma, Atma, Jivatma. So we are the Jivatmas. We need to study about Atma. We need to merge with Paramatma. So when we learn about Paramatma, we will not be taking the birth at all. We will be getting liberation itself. That's why Anyam Prakriti means the greatest one, the absolute soul. We need to learn about him. So do you have any doubts over here? If you have any doubts, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll do Mangala Prardhana and end the session. Om Mangalam Gurudevaya Mahaniya Prabodhatmane Sarvaloka Sharanyaya Sadhurupaya Mangalam. Prabodharpanam to everyone.